Today on episode 29 of the Home of Play podcast, Bethesda gets purchased by Microsoft. Metal Gear Solid, is it coming back? And Sony isn't the only one having issues with pre-orders. All that and more.
What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to episode 29 of the Home of Play podcast, where every Monday, the two best friends join forces to give you all the latest in PlayStation rumors, news, reviews, and that's because we are the true PlayStation fans. I'm your host, Steve, and with me, I'm joined by the king of platinum trophies himself, Christopher.
Hello, hello.
If you enjoy this and would like to support the Home of Play podcast, head over to the YouTube page where you can find our latest episodes by searching the Home of Play podcast. Please consider subscribing, maybe even dropping us a like if the spirit moves you. Winky wink. If you are already listening to this on our YouTube channel, then please feel free to listen to it on the podcast services as well. You can find our podcast on many services such as Spotify, Apple, or Amazon. If you could possibly give us a 5-star review on those services, as well as help make others aware of the content through the power of word of mouth, it would be extremely appreciated. Every month we're growing, it's all because you lovely gamers helping to spread the cause. If you have any burning questions, comments, or complaints, please leave any of those on our YouTube videos as we want to hear from you. We can then read your questions on the show or alone while we debate the great pre-order debacles. On today's episode, we have 8 news articles to discuss, but first, as always, let us begin with what we've been doing this last week. And Chris, what have you been doing this last week?
Yeah. I'm trying to think what I've done. Yeah, not too much for me this week. I've been playing more of the Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider 20th Anniversary Edition. I finished that game, just working on the platinum. You pretty much have to do it twice because you kind of have to do score attack mode, or I don't know what it's called, but you have to do certain sections of the game while trying to maintain kind of speed running each section, trying to get higher scores. So I got to finish that, but that'll probably be done by today or tomorrow. Apart from that, lots of Netflix as usual. Did a couple rounds of PUBG, won another round of Fall Guys. Yay. That's pretty much it. It's been a pretty quiet week this week. Some more Netflix movies, some new series on Netflix there, a couple new thingamajiggers. Apart from that, yeah, it's been a pretty quiet week. Not too much gameplay, just random bits of things. How about yourself? Have you been playing anything this week?
Other than myself, no, not really. No.
It's one of those episodes this week.
It's one of those. I got the gigglies in me, and I'm letting everyone have some. I tried Marvel's Avengers again because that big patch came, so I wanted to see if it fixed a lot of things. I do think frame rate's a little bit better. I wasn't fully paying attention though, so I can't say for sure, but I do think it was a little bit better.
The list was massive.
Yeah, there's still issues, and then for me, the big one's matchmaking still broken, and at this point, that's all I care about. And if I can't play with other people, I just don't want to play by myself. It doesn't have enough, gusto to make me want to keep playing by myself. So, and I hate the AI so bad in that game, so I don't want to continue that way either. Yeah, so I tried it, the surprise still broke. So yeah, that died, I tried it, I think Tuesday, and then didn't touch it again. Since then, yeah, I think I've just been whispering in your ear about trying Among Us, and then, I haven't really, there's just been a lot of life this week. Life just keeps getting in the way of my fake life, so.
Yeah, that Among Us is sure popping up in popularity right now. I think it sounds like we might have a crew to be able to try it tonight. Not 10 people, but we might be able to try.
Would probably be involved.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, if we can do it tonight, we'll try it tonight.
Yeah. We'll see. So, yeah, no, other than that, sadly, just like you, more Netflix. I tried that Dragon's Dogma.
How was it?
It's more adult than I thought it'd be, because, it's from Capcom, right? The original game, and I never found it very adult, and suddenly I started watching, and it's that CG anime style, which I'm not a fan of, but, I can tolerate it, and all of a sudden, there's just nudity out of nowhere, and I'm like, oh, okay, and yet I find the violence not too crazy. At certain parts, there's spraying blood, but not, over the top right off the bat, but yeah, it's just constantly ramping up. It's not Castlevania good, in my opinion, but it's something to watch. It's only 7 episodes, I think.
Yeah, that wouldn't take too long to get through.
No, so I think I'm only have 2 more episodes till I'm done. I mean, that relates to video games, and I did like the video game itself. Short, it didn't have a lot of main scenario, but it had a hell of an end game, especially if you got the Dark Rises or whatever that it was called expansion. So yeah, no, that's enough of me. Not a lot going on this week. I guess what I can talk about is I did manage to snag my Series X pre-order as well, so now I am stacked up and pre-ordered in both directions.
But why?
Purely profit reasons. Purely profit. I mean, I got some other ideas with it. We'll see what happens. Yeah, that's my life. So anyway, we're going to move on to the actual part of the show where we talk about the actual video games and the news of the video games and all that other
There
fun
hasn't
stuff.
been too many big stories this week that we've seen. I mean, there's the big stuff that everybody's heard about, but it's been a pretty quiet week apart from like everybody just scrambling for pre-orders. So
Yeah, that is the news.
pretty much. But I guess we'll start with news article number 1, the big one. Microsoft acquires Bethesda Softworks in a $7.5 billion deal. What are your thoughts on this? Is this going to change the industry for all time?
So Microsoft paid $7.5 billion to, I don't even know what the real company's name is. It's Bethesda's
ZeniMax.
Thank you. So early Monday, everyone woke up and the internet was already on fire because Microsoft announced that they spent $7.5 billion acquiring ZeniMax. What was the second part?
Media.
Insert here. And yeah, basically that means they get Bethesda Studios, which basically means you got to think of Bethesda as a publisher because that's what it is. And it owns many developers. So if you like Wolfenstein, Doom, Dishonored, Deathloop,
Quake, Fallout.
oh yeah, Quake, that's crazy.
Elder Scrolls.
Fallout, Elder Scrolls, like all those major titles.
Starfield.
If that ever comes out,
When it
and and whatever the hell it is, we haven't seen anything or heard anything. But yeah, basically that is all going to be Microsoft. I have to read more into this, but from the research I did do, it sounds like the Microsoft acquiring them doesn't actually take place until later. I think it's sometime next year, June. I thought it sounds
Probably
like,
with all these big deals.
so that's where it's kind of funny that I keep seeing other people that are talking faster than they're reading the information, and they're all talking about like, oh, Deathloop might not be an exclusive, and I'm like, well, they don't have that kind of power until like late next year, so like, why would you think that?
Gears don't move that fast.
No, not in major like acquisitions like this.
No, they don't. They just don't.
No. So I just, like, how long did it take Disney to actually get Fox, right?
Oh yeah.
I mean,
I don't even know if they still fully have it yet.
yeah, we don't know because they're not doing any Marvel stuff or X-Men. So yeah, like it's going to take a bit to actually happen. So I know some people were freaking out about the exclusivity for PlayStation 5 with the Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo.
Doesn't sound like those are going to be effective.
I don't think Microsoft even can. And the weird thing is they're talking like they can. They're like, "Oh no, we're going to honor previous contracts." I'm like, "You don't have a choice. Like it's not up to you right now."
No.
I mean, I guess they could be like, well, in good faith, because we're going to throw all this money at you.
Mm-hmm.
They could change their minds, but those things were timed exclusive anyway, so I don't think Xbox honestly cares at all.
No.
It's more the future that worries me. Like, is Elder Scrolls going to be timed exclusive? I do like Microsoft wants to push Game Pass. That is their future for some reason they're driving towards, which I don't fully understand yet.
Netflix of gaming.
Yeah. And how is Netflix always doing with money? Aren't they always billions in debt?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Definitely both ways.
So then I'm like, I kind of see this being the same thing where it's like, okay, it's great that you have 15 million subscribers. Let's just say they're paying $10 a head. You're getting 150 million a month, minus, I'm sure, like whatever fees they got to do for the people they employ to watch the service, the servers, all the fun stuff. But then it's like, okay, but Spider-Man came out and made 800 to $1 billion in the first 3 months. So it's like, so right there, one game gave PlayStation the same amount of money to last them, an equivalent of like half a year.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like 2 exclusives a year that sell, and like PlayStation has bangers constantly doing that. So it's just like, I don't again, I just don't get the money aspect.
It's yeah, it'd be nice if Microsoft actually gave out some of that information, but I understand that they don't want to, but still, it's like, really? Is it doing that good? I don't know. It's a great, don't get me wrong, Game Pass is great. They've got a lot of variety, or they're getting more variety, and it's a great deal. It's just, I don't know
I think
how many
they're
people are
taking
using it.
the Netflix approach of it, and basically
Shotgun approach.
It's an investment, and they're going to fight and spend the money to fight to keep it relevant until they've won the fight. And that's what I feel like Netflix has been doing this whole time. Like, I don't think they want to be as in debt as they are, but they're scared of, HBO Max, like blanking, but Hulu, stuff like that, Disney Plus.
Services, yeah.
But they want to be the winner, right? And especially like everyone's throwing their hat in. What else just showed up? Like, I think CBS has their own. I think Time Warner just made one. It's ridiculous. So there's a streaming service for like every channel coming up, and Netflix now has to live through that as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why they just put out so much of anything. Like, it doesn't matter the quality or quantity now. Yeah, I don't know. It's scary. It's I'm not thrilled about not knowing if we'll get Elder Scrolls, but I thought about it later too, and maybe you agree with this. I don't know how you play these games, but I'm like, I don't play 90% of these games. Like, I'm not a Doom guy. I'm not a Wolfenstein guy. Too much coffee today. And I'm not a Fallout guy. I like Dishonored, but I'm not really grooving with Deathloop. So then the only one that really speaks to me is like Starfield. If it turns out, again, we haven't seen anything, but if it turns out to be something, maybe I'll be disappointed with that. And then the other big one for me, the one I care about the most, is Elder Scrolls. But I've never played an Elder Scrolls not on the PC.
Mm-hmm.
So then I'm like, oh yeah, I guess this doesn't really affect me at all.
Yeah, for me, Bethesda, I mean, I get every Fallout game. I don't play them. I don't know why. It's just, I think I'm tired of their engine. It's just, everything looks not good, and I just don't want to do it.
Especially Fallout 4 came out the same time as, or same window as Witcher 3, and it made everyone kind of look around and be like, Witcher 3's bigger, it looks better, it plays better, and has not nearly as many glitches and bugs. Why does your thing look this bad at the same time?
Yeah, no, it's pretty bad. And yeah, so apart from that, like, I like a lot of them. Like, I like the idea of Dishonored, Elder Scrolls. Those are very popular games. I can never get into them. I don't know. Maybe they're just, I play a lot of big open world games, but these ones I just couldn't get into. Could be the way it looks. I don't know. Just, I don't get it. I don't get the feel that I want to get from it. So yeah, it's not a huge thing for me. I like a lot of their properties, but I don't care enough about them,
Yeah, like I'm positive and supportive of them, but yeah, I totally agree with you. They're not for me, most of them.
Yeah.
Elder Scrolls being the only one, but like I said, I was planning to play the next one on PC anyway.
And I don't see a lot of these games like not coming on PlayStation anymore. Like, I don't.
I could see some time exclusivity, maybe Starfield, because it's its own standalone. They try to keep that as an exclusive. But yeah, to recoup some of the cost of this, like $7.5 billion, and you're sure not going to be getting that from the Games Pass money. Yeah, I agree with you. I think just to try to get some of the money back, they might actually be like, you know what? Elder Scrolls is so big, we kind of need it to sell on PlayStation to get some money. Because $70 a pop, right?
Well, and then they're talking too that all these games from Bethesda are going to be coming on Game Pass, but I don't know if that wouldn't have happened before the deal.
Well, especially because in the article itself, they're like, Bethesda's always been a great support of Games Pass and allows us to put a lot of their games. I'm like, well, if you were already on there.
Yeah, so I don't think I don't know what's on there for Game Pass right now.
It just sounds like the new upgrade would be day and date released, like their own first-party studios on Games Pass. And I'm like, yeah, but again, like, I don't know. It's my biased view, but like, you put all this work into it, and then some guy can come in at a promo price for $1 that month, play your game, bounce, and like, what did you get out of that? And you'll never get to know the numbers because you're on a streaming thing. Like, I'm sure Microsoft could tell them whatever and be like, oh yeah, like Ted and Fred, they both loved it, and it's just like, well, is that it? Like, I don't know. Like, yeah, I don't know the inside, but it just seems like if you were part of Insomniac and Spiderman sells 10 million in the first 3 days, you're like, oh, awesome. And then you're now Elder Scrolls 6 and you've worked on this game forever, and it comes out and they're like, some people played it on this streaming thing.
Yeah.
Well, great. Like, you know, you're never going to get that plaque. You know,
Did you get the numbers and all that?
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know. We don't know. But this kind of leads us into the second story.
Number 2.
Bethesda is overhauling its engine for Starfield and the Elder Scrolls 6, which is great because I was just complaining about that. That's the one thing they needed to do.
I don't believe.
You don't believe the article?
No, I don't believe I believe they're telling people that. I don't believe it's going to happen. They've been using this same one since, I believe, Morrowind.
My problem with the article is the word overhauling. They need a new engine.
They need a new engine.
They overhauling. I mean, you can only get so much out of it until it's a brand new thing. Just make a brand new engine. Yeah, that was the one thing that threw me off in this article, the overhauling word.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you've been overhauling it forever, and stuff's coming out worse than it was before.
I know. Like, and
you have games that have patched the problems potentially, not all of them. And then you release the next game and it has all the problems that were patched out in the previous game. What are you guys doing? Like,
well, and I don't even remember. I didn't read into it because I didn't care that much, but I do remember seeing an article that popped up on my feed, and it's like, Bethesda remembers one small tweak they had to do to, like, it was a funny glitch or something, but they were, through the glitch, they were able to get to finally work on the 360. This was Oblivion, I think.
This sounds familiar. Yeah.
And I'm like, that shouldn't be a thing. Like, you shouldn't be proud of that.
Yeah, you found a bug in your own system.
Yeah, like, you just have a bad system. It doesn't want to work with anything. It sounds, probably not exactly, but it sounds similar to, like, the Frostbite engine that no one wants to play with. Like, even
worse.
Battlefield people, don't even want to play with it. So it's just like, okay, like, can we just not, you know, like, every other person usually, like, is updating. There's, like, even the RE engine, like, that's pretty new. That only came out with what, like 7?
Was it implemented in 7, or was it mostly used in Resident Evil 2 Remake?
I think it was the first time was 7, and
yes, you're right. Yeah,
they tweaked it and they perfected in 2.
Yes,
this 2 looked amazing.
That's right. Yeah, that was a great looking engine. Man, that game looks so good.
Yeah,
so good.
So I'm like, yeah, like,
I'd love to play an Elder Scrolls that looked that good.
Oh, I know, right?
And people are going to be like, oh, but Elder Scrolls is so much bigger. You just can't do it. Bullshit.
Yeah.
Bullshit. You can do it.
There's
ways to do it. You need to add loading screens between zones or some shit. Figure it out.
Well, we'll figure it out with Cyberpunk.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Yeah. Witcher 3 was just as big as Skyrim.
Yeah.
If not, probably bigger.
But this is probably telling us where some of the 7.5 is potentially going.
It better be. Because they cannot come out with an Elder Scrolls 6 that looks, like, dated like all their other stuff.
I can promise you it's not a game that I would buy, like, right when it came out. I don't even know if I would buy it.
I've kind of learned, and, you know, I don't want to be mean or any meaner than I've already been, but I think it's smart. Again, it sounds mean, but I'm really not trying to be that mean. I don't want to buy a Bethesda game at launch anymore because of all the bugs.
Yeah.
They're constantly riddled, and I'm sure, it probably comes back.
When do you buy it? A year after?
6 months minimum.
Have you played a small game called Fallout 76? It's been a year now, and it still has the same bugs of the forever generations. I don't know. Sometimes they get fixed. I haven't played Elder Scrolls. What's the more recent one? What's the latest one? Skyrim. I haven't played Skyrim, but I don't know.
You've never played Skyrim?
I turned it on.
Okay.
That's about it. I think, do you start in a cave?
No.
I thought you started in a cave in all of them.
No,
no, you walk on, like, you're on a cart or something.
Yes.
Yeah, I did that
meme
part.
from hell.
I got through that, and then that's where I stopped.
Okay.
I was like, oh my god, this world's so big, and turn it off.
It wasn't, like, at the time it's amazing, but even, like, I started playing again just because I was bored. Mods make that game better. Like, I remember, like,
and I'm not a modder.
Oh, see, like, the mod for me was like change the intro, because that fucking intro is horrendous. So it, like, would let you change your start, and I'm like, okay, this feels like amazing. So yeah, I got into it again. I'm like, oh yeah, this really isn't that big. Like, at the time it was great. It stood out, but I'm like, it's been forever ago, right? So I'm like, going back now, I'm like, there's bigger stuff here. Like, this isn't that, like, don't get me wrong, it is open in the sense that, like, you can literally just play the game, and this is how I did it. I don't think I ever completed this story because I just kept going, like, oh, there's a cave over there. Oh, there's a cave over there. And it's like, oh, I'm going to jump on this mountain. Oh, I found something. And, like, that was the best part of the game, is like, this is where Breath of the Wild almost tried to be Skyrim. But yeah, like, you would do it, and then like you go find something. But Breath of the Wild, there's nothing to find. So Skyrim like had that like rewarding, like, oh, I found this thing, and there's this loot and another cool thing, or maybe an artifact. Like there was actual like great moments of discovery, and that I think that was my favorite part, because I'm not like huge in the combat. I'm like, why does it have to be first person, and like doesn't feel traditional RPG, which again, it's still fine. Like I did enjoy it.
I had forgotten what I was initially going into, but I just remembered. So my question was, does it still have a lot of bugs? Is there issues in that game? Have you heard of anything?
I'm sure there's issues, just like, you know, how you can glitch jump over almost anything. Like little things like that, but I don't think there was like, or at least currently I've never seen like, you know, my game crash or anything like that. I don't think the same, and I could be wrong, but I don't think the same could be said about the console versions. I think I do remember huge issues with the PS3, because just how much stuff you could find, and it kept making the save file like ridiculous. So eventually the PS3 couldn't handle it.
I can't even believe that it was back on those generations.
This game
I know
has
it's
been
on
on
everything. It's
Alexa,
on your watch.
Like, yes.
Your watch.
And then I think Fallout 4, I thought the same thing. There's still bugs there, I thought.
Yeah, that one was pretty buggy when I played that one.
Yeah,
but that was another one that like I played a little bit more than the Skyrim one.
That one, no, see, this is where I'm the opposite. Fallout 4, I did the first mission, and it made such zero sense. The girl's like, these guys come every night and they keep raiding my area. Stop them. I'm like, oh, okay. Like, what are they, across the street? They're like, oh no,
yeah,
they're across the globe. I'm like, okay, they come here every night across the globe.
I remember that.
Just to f with your garden. Like, get out of here. So I think I completed it, and then I was like, I don't like this game.
Yeah, where it's like a basic mission, protect my field, and you got to go across the whole map and encounter the whole game to stop the raiders. I remember this. Yeah, I think
that is bad game development.
Right away, that turned me off too. I remember that.
Yeah, I just didn't find a lot of enjoyment. So that game was I bought it again for PC, which again, a rarity for me. And then I just was like,
I lost this item at the park. Can you go get it? Oh yeah, the park's 200 miles away that way.
Which park is that? It's like UK. I'm like, what? Like, get out of here.
Is there even a plane in this
game? I got you a canoe. You just got to row over there.
No loading screens. This is the only time the game's smooth.
Yeah, it's just blank water. A whale comes from the sun and it just lands on your boat. Bethesda glitch. Whoop. Number 3.
So this one won't hit much for us because we don't know much about it, but Ubisoft is saying Beyond Good and Evil 2 development going well. Gameplay coming next year. So not anytime soon, but there's going to be gameplay next year, which I'm assuming means 2021 to them. I don't know. I never played the first one. I know it was a popular game, but I don't think I knew about the game at the time.
Yeah.
It wasn't something that was circulating around my friends. So do you know more about this game? I know it seems like extremely popular.
I just remember seeing it all the time on game shelves when I was renting games, God forbid if you remember that. And I just remember a girl, and she had a camera, and there's like this pig human, and I'm just like, okay, not my bag of tricks. So I always just passed over it and heard about it more later, almost like it was acquiring a cult following or something, but you'd hear more and more about it, and people seem excited for it. I'm hearing neat things from it, so I might check out the sequel.
It doesn't seem like a game I'd go back and play, but maybe I'd be interested to look up. Maybe there's a YouTube video where somebody explains the game to me or something.
I could just see them releasing this gameplay video a year from now, and maybe I'll just be like, oh yeah, that does seem like something I want to check out.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not against it, but I need to fact check myself on this, but I also thought I read that the director of this game sounds like he's either retiring or quitting games for a little bit right now. So I'm like, okay, but how's this game going so smoothly if your director may be walking out right now?
Yeah, depends how far in development they are, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe you as the audience knows more about this game and has more information you'd like to share.
And if I'm wrong, leave a comment. Tell me I'm wrong about the game director. I didn't really follow in further. It could have just been a rumor I was reading.
Well, it's also a game that isn't really high on our radar, so we're not going to track it as much. But
So yeah, if you want to call me a piece of shit, do it.
can I?
Yes.
Going into article number 4.
Number 4.
Moving on to article number 4. You can, if you want to see why we're laughing, go to the bloopers at the end. The original Metal Gear Solid is reportedly getting a PS5 exclusive remake, not a remaster, a remake. What are your feelings on this? I am excited and don't care about your feelings. I will go into how well I am so excited for this. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
How well you are excited about?
Yeah, whatever. We can cut that.
Nope, that's staying now. That's scripture, motherfucker.
Very much welly. I am excited.
Chris 316. Yeah, I never played the first one. I just didn't understand it. I remember my brother playing it because he was older than me, and I just remember us getting confused and not getting very far at all. I don't even think we got inside the complex, if I remember.
Yeah, I remember when I first played the game, it was on a demo disc, which I think had like the bunker you start in.
Oh my god, I think I was doing that too.
Yes. It was a bunker you climbed in, you swam under it or into it or whatever at the beginning of the game. And then you would do the upper area, which was like where the helicopter lands. And as soon as you climb through a vent, it would be like, and that was the end of the demo. So I don't know if you remember that.
Maybe, yeah, I know we did that. I also think I remember playing the demo disc for MG2. And I loved the start of that because I was actually Snake, and not freaking Ryder. Like what a...
Oh, the boat part. Yeah, I forgot about the boat part.
That was great. And then all of a sudden you get tricked and find out, you're like, oh, guess what? You're not him for the rest of the game.
Psych!
But yeah, anyway, getting back to the the issue. Yeah, I'm excited for this. Like I said, I didn't get to play the first one, experience it like everyone else. Everyone talks so highly about it. I would definitely be excited for this.
It was a super unique game. I have really highs and lows with this one. Lows because it's Konami and I freaking hate them right now. Freaking hate them just because of everything they did to Kojima. So it's like now they're remaking this game, and is he going to get any credit for it?
Well, is that what it is? Are they remaking or are they allowing Sony to remake it?
I don't know.
Because Konami's...
It's all rumors anyway, right?
Yeah, it's all hearsay, but I just find Konami useless, and they haven't really created, like even what they've been doing recently, it's just re-releasing, so they're like porting things over original properties. I mean, I guess the last one I can think of is Metal Gear Solid Survive,
which was awful.
Yeah. Game of the year.
It's too hard to say because it's still in rumor mode, so I assume it's Konami remaking it.
But then I just don't see why they would keep it.
Because they're the ones who have the license. So.
No, you're right, but then why would they, it's kind of like Neversoft allowing Blue Point to remake Demon Souls.
Right.
And I feel like that's what we're going to see here.
Could be. So, yeah, I mean, I just hope it's true to the original.
Yeah.
There's so many really unique moments. Like the Psycho Mantis fights was so cool. Like playing that. Do you remember that fight?
I never got
that was the one where it's like you couldn't hit him and he kept saying, I can read your mind. And then you had to like unplug your controller out of the first port and plug it into the second port. And he couldn't read your mind anymore. And then you could shoot him for a little while. Or if you waited too long, he would like turn the TV off on you. And you're like, what the heck's going on? And like, but it just made it look like the TV was going off. Or it'd pull up, it looked like it reset the system and it'd pull up your memory card and it would start deleting things off your memory card. And you're like, what the hell is going on? These are some of the stories. And that's just one boss fight. I mean, there were other ones weren't as unique as that one, but it was just a really cool game. There's like one part where you're stuck and you have to like you have to figure out the code to call the person that you need to call. It's in the back of the manual. Like, yeah, the game even kind of gives you the hint. It's like, it's at the back of the manual. Like you have to, the code's there. Go get it.
Is that the one with the super sexual vampire dude?
No, that's the second one.
Oh, okay. He was so sexual. I don't know why. Like, why don't you own his shirt?
And part of the rumor too is that there might be a remaster of those ones.
Ooh.
The second one and the third one, I guess.
I think
I don't remember the names.
I beat 3, 4, like Snake Eater.
Yeah.
I beat 4. I didn't like 5. I love 5 overall. It's just there was that weird separation where I'm like, I really enjoy the basic combat, and then you get into the story stuff, and I'm like, this defies all the other things I was
you
doing.
had to do it very specifically. That had
Yeah,
nothing to do
or
with-
like those guys would come that are like made out of stone or could change into stone.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, this is kind of breaking the game. Like there's no more stealth element. There's no more being crafty. You're just basically shooting rockets at them, hoping that they just die.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I feel it.
Well, and the game wasn't really finished storyline wise either.
Yeah, I
so-
hear a lot of complaints about that too. So I'm kind of happy I didn't go further.
Yeah. I guess overall, we're excited for a remake of the first one.
And I never, know what the fuck's going on with those storylines.
Yeah, there are. I remember.
I remember having like 19 endings, and I'm just like, I don't understand one of those 19 endings.
Did it have 19 endings?
Oh my gosh!
I think I only
'cause
finished
after
the one
credits
time.
when
You mean like credits?
real
like
big
Lord of the
boss
Rings.
shows up and
Yeah.
talks to old clone version of himself, and he's just like, "You're old," and he's like, "You're you," and I'm like, "What the fuck is happening?" Metal Gear Solid 4, huge shout out. It taught me how to make fried eggs.
Oh yeah,
Because she's like, put the
that looks so good.
lid on
Eh?
there. Put the lid on there, and it cooks better. And I've done it ever since, and she's not wrong.
It looks.
It's
so
the only
good.
way not to burn your eggs. Like, thank you, Konami. Thank you, Kojima, for teaching me how to make eggs.
I know one thing that was nice too with the fourth one was it came with a free download that you could download. It's like the Metal Gear Solid database, and you could open it up. It was like a big, massive library of like the everything of all the games like up until that point. And I remember reading through that thing for like hours, just like, oh yeah, okay, that's what they mean by that. Or it's like, oh, that's that person they've been talking about for half the game. I was like, I didn't realize that was the same person.
Well, I remember when you killed those specialized women, like the octopus. and
Yeah.
The weird masks, like why you'd want to wear their like oversized heads on like a male's body. Very off-putting. It was Halloween for the entirety of the game. I'm like, I find this very problematic. Cross-dressing snake. It's like the guy in the background. As soon as he puts
Snake?
as soon as he puts on the girl's face, he's like, snake.
But I guess, yeah, overall, like we said, we're excited for it.
Number 5. Going on, we got Spider-Man confusing the bejesus out of everyone. So people are apparently confused on the internet on how the 2018's Marvel Spider-Man PS5 upgrade is going to work. It is literally not that confusing. And I'm a little frustrated with the IGN's video where Max Scoville and Brian Altano do a little bit where they're like, how's this work? And oh my God, this is so confusing. I'm like, how did you open your door today? Like, if you're that confused by something this simple, like, how did you even get out of your apartment? It's not that confusing. It's not great. Like, don't get me wrong. It's not as bad as 505 Games upgrade system, but it's almost as bad. So I will literally explain it to you in, as few words as I can.
Good. I'm glad because I don't know what the confusion is.
Okay, the confusion is people are like, how do I play 2018's Marvel Spider-Man on my PS5?
Okay.
Now, I give it to you in two options. You either buy the $70 Ultimate Edition and you get the remastered version.
The Ultimate Edition of that game?
No.
Or
Okay, so
Miles
now you're
Morales.
getting already confused. You buy the Miles Morales Ultimate Edition for the PS5. You get the upgraded 2018 Marvel Spider-Man free. Remastered free. Well, not free. You paid for the Ultimate Edition to basically get it. So that is the only way you're going to get this on the PS5. Otherwise, you're basically playing the backwards compatible version, but you're playing the PS4 version on the PS5. You're not getting a free upgrade. You're not getting it. I feel like Donald Trump here. You're not getting it. I can't even do a Trump impression,
No.
but I'm doing the hand thing, so it
doing
works.
the hand thing.
Doing the
yes.
hand things.
Can confirm.
So,
For me,
Mhm.
I have the disc-based version of Spider-Man,
then pop it in your disc-based PS5, and you can play it.
the remastered.
No, you put in your PS4 copy.
Right.
In the PS5, you're going to play the PS4 version. I don't think there's going to be physical versions of there's no standalone way to get the remastered. You literally, at least right now, you have to get the Miles Morales Ultimate Edition to get access to this remastered PS5-ish version.
Otherwise, if I have the physical or the digital version, it's just a port.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, okay, so it's not even that. You literally are playing it PS4. It's playing as it's backwards compatible.
Okay.
So I don't like the port because it's like it's not doing anything special. It's just playing your PS4 game on a PS5.
Okay.
Just kind of like, you remember the first PS3s that were backwards compatible? Same thing if you put your PS2 in that PS3, it was just playing that game.
Yeah, but it's hard to compare because those games didn't have updates.
Yeah, but everyone's assuming that every game has an update currently, and I think that's just a weird, like, don't get me wrong, we're getting lucky, and a lot of people are just being like, hey, free upgrade for you. You know, it's like Oprah comes out and she's like, upgrade, free upgrade. You don't even want to upgrade. F- you, you're gonna upgrade. You know, so great. But this one's not doing that, and that's why I kind of say it's not as bad in my opinion. Well, maybe it is. I guess it's going to be up to everyone's opinion, but I don't think it's as bad as Control's shenanigans, but it's somewhere close to it. Like, I don't know why they're doing this, why you can't just buy it standalone. I guess they're just trying to put a border there and have to get Miles Morales if you want this.
Is the remastered version, is that with all the DLC and everything too?
That I haven't read into, but I assume it would be.
Yeah.
But that is me
like
assuming.
How else would you purchase it separately?
Yeah.
So it must be like the Game of the Year edition type thing, where it includes everything.
Yeah, well, you are buying an Ultimate Edition. They might as well give it to you.
Yeah, but you're getting the Ultimate Edition of Miles Morales.
Well, I know, and that's why I don't like, because you're not, like, from my understanding, you're not even getting anything extra with the Ultimate Edition for Miles Morales. You're just getting this.
Right.
And I mean, it's just their excuse of giving you a lesser, and I don't want to mean lesser as worse, just a smaller game, but they're like, we still really want to charge them $70 for this, so this is what they came up with.
And it's only really $10 more to get it then, right?
20.
Is it $20 more?
50 to 70. Yeah, it's $20.
Isn't like the standard edition for Miles Morales the same price as a normal game, or no?
No, it's actually
it's a little cheaper.
Yeah,
which tells you it's gonna be a shorter game.
Yeah, no, and they kind of like, I think they've been saying that from day one, so people weren't super disappointed.
For me, like, Spider-Man was such a great game. I'm almost willing to give him that.
Like,
extra
did you ever
$20.
play was it Prophecy? What was the Uncharted standalone thing?
It was something prophecy. Yeah.
Yeah, this is what that is.
Lost Legacy.
Yes, Lost Legacy.
Yeah.
That's what this is.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I never played it, but yeah, that was the one where he plays the girls, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, like I was saying, like, Spider-Man was such a good game. I'm willing to give him the extra $20.
I said from day one I was gonna pay for this because I really do want to see Spider-Man, because they're like, this isn't like, and I think this is how I justify it in my own head, but like, this isn't just like a re-res. They literally went in and put the Miles Morales 4K character models back into this. There's more cars, more population in the streets. The ray tracing's in there. If you want that 60 frame performance mode, they're doing that as well. So like, they really did sound like they put effort into it. So that's why I think I'm willing to pay. And again, if it's really a $20 difference to get that whole game again, yes, it sucks that there's no save transfer. But like, I don't know. Like, I also don't really care.
No, it's a fun game to go and do everything. Even getting collectibles is fun in that game.
Exactly. So, and there wasn't that many.
And to be honest, for me, it kind of works out because, like I said, I have the physical version of the PS4 version, so I could probably resell that one for like at least $10.
We didn't say that on this PlayStation podcast. We didn't say that.
We gave it to a friend.
Don't sell your used games. This is why digital's becoming.
Sell it back to EB for $3. Yeah.
Sony's listening. God help.
So I could probably get my money back for that one.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm fine with it. But
yep.
Number 6.
Xbox One S and X sales skyrocket as pre-orders for Xbox Series X go live. This one's kind of humorous.
Yeah, it's kind of the meme where Spider-Man's pointing at himself. Kind of funny how Xbox made fun of PlayStation last week for their pre-order debacle.
In jest. It was funny.
In jest, but now what is funnier to me is now you have people so confused by Xbox's poor branding, that apparently people were accidentally actually pre-ordering a 1X instead of a Series X. And on top of that, people were pre-ordering the 1S instead of the Series S.
It's horrible. Like, I mean, there's
I
one
feel
thing
really bad for it. In this scenario.
Bad.
There's some people that maybe were scalpers and, got duped themselves, which then I'm happy. But for the one guy that I think out there who's like, I want a Series X, today's my day, I'm getting it. And then they make this, and it's understandable mistake, but they make the mistake and they get a 1X and then they leave feeling like, I did it. Like, I got one. It wasn't even that hard. I don't know what everyone's talking about. And then, they're going to find out later. Or like you said, like maybe parents bought it for the kid.
For sure. You're going to have like the mom or pop that's going to purchase this for their kid. The kid's going to be like, it's out today. Okay, we'll check or whatever. And, and they'll go and they'll pre-order it. They still won't know that it's wrong.
Yeah.
They're going to get it. They're going to wrap it up for Christmas or the birthday. And it's going to be under the tree or next to the kid on his birthday. And the kid's going to open it and they're going to be like, I already have this.
Yep.
And then it's just going to be completely devastating.
Oh, for sure. There's going to be...
It's going to happen for sure, 100%.
Yeah.
They're not ever... No, don't tell me everybody's going to catch this mistake. They're not.
But I've had this, I'm sure I've had this conversation with you too many times. I know my wife's had to listen to it too many times. But, what the hell is their naming game here?
Yeah, it's never been...
Because, okay, so, walk with me here. Grab my hand, hold it, caress it, whatever you have to do. But we're going to walk through the park of the Hall of Xbox. And so we start with Xbox, and it's just called Xbox.
What were they thinking? No,
what were they thinking? But then they go to Xbox 360. So I don't know about your circle of friends or mine, but ever since the 360 came out, I remember a lot of people would call the original Xbox One.
Yeah.
Or the first Xbox. Just to make it a little more clear, why they called it the 360, it was the stupidest name. It starts with a 3, but it's only your second console. So that already I found that weird, but I'm like, okay. And then I remember rumors were like the next Xbox is going to be called the 720. And I'm like, that's even dumber. You guys.
Well, and I think the other thing behind it is they didn't want, I think marketing wise, they didn't want PlayStation 3 to be out and Xbox 2. I think that they thought that the number game was going to make it seem that the Xbox 2 would be more inferior to PlayStation's 3. Which I think was maybe what was going on behind the scenes, but I don't know if
when you say that, it clicks in. I could see that as some guy in the head office being like, we're going to die because it says 2 instead of 3.
Yeah, no, for sure. Have they played Final Fantasy game?
I know.
The naming standards. But continue.
So then, anyway, you got that issue. And again, it didn't cause too many issues. But then as soon as they revealed, and I don't for the life of me, this is the one I have the hardest time swallowing, why the hell you came out with a console called Xbox One?
Yeah.
If you've already had a first console, it's because me and you were just having that conversation. They don't want to call it 2 if there's a 3 out. Well, then why the next generation are you coming out with 1?
They totally kind of screws my argument about
and
them
then,
marketing.
You should know your own audience, and it's just if you know they're referring to your first one as the Xbox One already. How that doesn't get even more confusing. So then it's okay, but now
the consumers had to mentally change by saying, I was playing on my Xbox Classic.
Yeah.
They had to come up with a new word because you couldn't call it Xbox One.
And then it's on top of that, it's then you start going into the adding even more characters and being Xbox One X and then Xbox One S. And then I thought there was a SAT edition. I can't remember what they called that. But that was that digital SAT edition.
I stopped paying attention after 1.
Yeah, and then so it's okay, and now this is probably the biggest fault. I cannot believe they're even that close in name. Xbox One X or Xbox Series X, you're one word off.
Mm-hmm.
And I get from their perspective, they thought this would be great branding. They're okay, X and S, that's just going to be a thing from us from now on. I'm yeah, it's a lot harder to decipher than some kid who's just I want the PS1, 2, 3, or 4.
Yeah.
It's that easy.
5.
And don't get me wrong, you could also say Sony's lazy, they don't do it, but nobody's making that mistake.
Yeah.
If you're pre-ordering a 5, you want the 5, you don't want the 4.
They're even doing it even now. There's the PlayStation 5 digital or the disc-based version. No, it's just the PS5.
Yep.
They're not even really differentiating between digital or.
Well, what I'm hearing is PS5 is PS5 and PS5 digital is digital.
So you just add digital.
Yeah, you just literally add digital.
And then you could say the PS4 Pro, but that one it makes.
But
it's still PS4 Pro.
Exactly.
Pro sounds better than 4.
You're if you're going out for a PS4 and your kid said he wants the Pro, and you're was this a PS5 or PS4 Pro? And they're no, this is the Pro. There you go, problem solved.
Yeah, it makes more sense because it's still the same name, just with an added word.
Yeah,
which makes it's a word that makes it sound like it would be and more improved. So I don't know. Yeah, it's I'm gonna truly feel bad for some of these people.
Oh, for sure.
They're hands down gonna get the wrong system.
Well, because I think even before this article came out, when I was pre-ordering my Series X, I saw that the One X was on their trending or something. It was I can't remember what report said. It was like up 700%
Yeah,
in sales.
you sent me a picture
Yeah.
from Amazon or something saying it was like up 747%.
Yeah. Oh God, sweet Jesus, no.
Yeah.
I do feel bad. Like, I jest, but I am genuinely disappointed for people.
Yeah, and then the whole pre-order process just didn't go well.
No.
Same with the PlayStation, but this one was almost worse because I think you had people with bots and stuff that were hitting
Scalpers, bots, they had time to rev their engines.
They're
and going
bringing
in.
down the websites,
Yep.
especially in the US. Canada wasn't as bad.
They were bad for a bit because they're getting affected by the
Yeah.
American, but as soon as like a certain time hit, it cleared up.
They
and
weren't
it was
getting
super
website
easy.
crashes.
Yeah, and they weren't selling out nearly as fast.
Yeah, there was issues I think with like the cart, like actually checking out.
Yes.
But that was probably on the websites.
Yeah,
for
it was
sure,
a server overload. Yeah.
So yeah, no, it wasn't great. It definitely wasn't better. I almost want to say this was slightly worse just because people were pre-ordering the wrong one.
Well, PS5, the bots and the scalpers didn't have a chance to get ready.
Yeah,
They were as taken aback by the rest of us. So
That's how
honestly,
we and our
that's
buddies
why.
got
Yeah,
it.
that's why a lot of like the people we know, like the real hardcore people, like
they all got one.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't know anybody that. There were some people who were kind of on the fence about getting it right away.
Mhm.
They didn't get one, and they weren't intending to get one.
yeah.
But everybody who really wanted one, I know, pre-ordered it.
And then I guess we should also say on top of the debacle is nothing's confirmed, but it also sounds like Xbox may not have any more pre-orders for you until launch date. So yeah, basically it sounds like you may not get any more pre-order chances for your Xbox Series X, which makes mine more valuable. so yeah, I'm
You
a bad
crazy guy.
I am crazy. Too much coffee. Yeah, so that's and again, nothing's confirmed, but then when there was an update, they literally did not talk like they it's typical corporate crap where they just totally bypass the entire question and they're like, "Hey, there's going to be more opportunity on November 10th when it launches." And I'm like, that doesn't tell me if you do or do not have more opportunities for pre-orders. Like PlayStation 5 as we're recording gave people another chance. Probably not a big chance, probably not a lot more units, but at least another chance. And it was scheduled, so
And they kind of said like retailers may or may not get more, but that's probably because the retailers have to look at their charts and they have to go, okay, this is how many we've already done. How many did we have? Oh, okay, we have 10 more. Okay, put 10 more up.
Yeah.
That's probably the stuff you're going to get. You're not actually going to get, oh, we're sending another 50 more to Walmart.
Well, and I take that over Amazon's just give it to as many people that want it and then later be like, now we give them the email that says they're not getting it. Like,
Yeah.
There's nothing worse than that.
No, for sure.
Oh, I hate that stuff.
Moving on to article number 7. This one
Number 7.
Moving on to article number 7. This one will probably be a little bit of a short one, but Destiny 2 Beyond Light update will reduce the size of the game, but will need a full reinstall. So from what I kind of looked at how big mine is on Steam, and it says, I think it's 94 gigs in size. And the article is saying that it'll go down about 30 to 40%, which I think that they estimated that the game size, what was it, would be somewhere between 59 and 71 gigs. So that's not too crazy. Like, that's not the danger level for a console for sure. Like, the danger ones are when they're over 100, which this one was nearly close to.
But I mean, for a game that's existed for 900 years now.
Yeah, a game that's been around, has multiple expansion packs, da-da-da-da. Now, mind you, a lot of the content's going in the vault, and you won't be able to play it now.
The Disney Vault?
The Disney Vault. But they'll add it at some point or they'll rotate it from what it sounds like.
Yeah.
So, it's interesting. I think it's good. I think it'll work for them.
Good.
Destiny's got like they've pulled in probably as many people as they're going to pull in now. Making it free. I don't see too many new users going to be jumping on that game just randomly. I mean, it could happen. You're going to get some, but so I think this will be it'll be a good thing. Be a good thing. Reduce the size for the people who are hardcore.
Well, they're probably
free
just
space.
getting rid of a bunch of like useless crap, right?
Oh
Like,
yeah, for sure.
the game's so old. There's probably things they tried, didn't work out. You need to clear out your junk box, and there you go.
Yeah, delete the cache.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, this is hopefully a trend we'll see maybe in other games.
Hey, Chris.
I don't understand how Call of Duty can have such a huge download. I don't understand it.
It's lazy.
It's lazy
just
programming.
lazy,
I think. Yeah, I think Because it's like, there's no way the textures are that big. Like,
I literally think it's the entire Modern Warfare game with Warzone, and they just wouldn't separate them.
They have all the games from before. It's all the data still in the game. They just build the next one with it. So
I wouldn't doubt it.
Because they're constantly going up in size, and it just doesn't make sense.
It is ridiculous.
So they're not getting any bigger.
No.
I mean, Warzone's like 100 gigs, and it's like one map.
But it doesn't have like dialogue or cutscenes.
No,
like, where's the size coming from?
I don't get it.
From the one guy who yells grenade, the one voice line, that takes 100 gigs. Like, get out of here.
That tree's 1.5 gigs.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous.
So, yeah, no, hopefully this is a trend we'll see. I think the Vault idea, I'll be interested to see how it pans out for people, but yeah, we'll see.
Hey, Chris.
What?
Number 8. So we got a sneak update from Schreier himself. It sounds like Final Fantasy 16 has actually been in development, and it started development, I should say, before 15 even launched. This is surprising, and I don't know where to stand with this. Like, I trust Jason Schreier. He's literally the only real games journalist, in my opinion. And so I take everything he's saying as legitimate, but then I'm almost more disappointed that it looks, at least character model wise, like we talked about in the last episode, why it looks as poor as it does. If you're making a game from the ground up, apparently you've been working on this for 4 years already. And don't get me wrong, it's Schreier's also saying it's coming out a lot sooner than you think. And I think that's like a weird statement, because I think what he's trying to touch on is that it's not going to be your typical Square launch where it takes 10 years. But I think other people are reading into it too much. Like, oh, does Jason mean like January? Like January is coming 2021 January because it's coming soon. I'm like, no, but
mind you, it might be 10 years if they've been working on it since before 15 launched.
So, it sounds like they started
just
before launch.
What's the definition of working on? They've had a board meeting and said, hey, we're going to make Final Fantasy 16. There's no context to this.
I know, and that's why I have a hard time when Square talks about they're already working on part 2 of 7, and I'm like, 2 guys tapping pens on a notepad, like is that starting a game? Like, I that whole talk and term is very loose.
Yes.
So yeah, like, I don't know. I wouldn't expect it January, but maybe they're saying like maybe it's going to be before fall. Maybe we're getting a spring game, like maybe. But I don't know. It depends. Like 2021's got so many big titles coming that you're almost going to want to plan your game around every other game. Kind of like everyone does with Cyberpunk.
Yeah, plan all your games around it.
But yeah, so I don't know. Not much to take from here, but it is a little Final Fantasy update. If you were dying for the next Final Fantasy title, Jason Schreier says you don't have to wait long.
Yeah, I don't know what that means. That means 2021.
Well, the trailer said 2021, but if anyone has the best track record for not meeting launch title dates, then it's interesting.
Is Kingdom Hearts 3 even out yet? He said sarcastically.
So we finished all our articles. All 8 articles are completed. Yay.
Achievement unlocked.
As always, we are going to our homework for the week. And I shouldn't say as always, because there are some weeks that we don't do homework because we don't have enough time. And there's not enough news. So anyway, we're going into homework. This is a segment of the show where things that just couldn't fit in our little time restrictions get tossed to the bottom, and we leave it up to you to look into it if it sounds like something you're interested in.
So the first one we have is kind of a rumor leak hybrid, but we got a title for potential Mass Effect, which is the, I guess, remaster of the original trilogy, and it looks like they're going to be calling it the Mass Effect Legendary Edition. You can find a little bit more about it on Games Radar. However, like I said, it's a rumor / leak, so there's not a lot of info on that.
Yay.
Another potential news article. A new Sony patent suggests that the next PSVR could have Oculus-like inside-out tracking. So that's pretty interesting. You can find a little bit more information on that on IGN.
Yay, VR.
Yep. Be curious if they come out with a new version of it altogether. So not too sure how expensive that'll be. And the third homework potential thing we did, we watched the Capcom, was it the Tokyo Game Show
2020 live?
We watched it so you guys don't have to, and I recommend you don't watch it because it's not that interesting, even though they constantly say, "Wow, that was awesome, that was great, oh my
It's
god, this is so
weird.
cool."
That'd be like me talking to you and being like, "Hey, Chris, you know, I did this today. Wow, that's awesome, isn't it? It's awesome."
I
I'm
wasn't
like,
there. I don't know what you know.
I know, right? Like, and it's like, but it's also seems like you're gloating about what you're patting yourself on your back kind of thing. Yeah,
very much so. So it was the only thing they showed some Monster Hunter stuff, which that's all for the Switch, so it wasn't that interesting for us. But
yeah,
it's out there about the new Monster Hunters. And then there was a little bit about the Resident Evil Village. The only thing that we thought was important to make note of was that they mentioned that they're primarily focusing to make the game on the next gen consoles, which was the PS5 and the Xbox Series X. However, they said they are hoping to / going to try to make a version of it for the PS4 and Xbox One. So it's kind of interesting how they're wording that, in the sense that they're saying, no, this isn't a PlayStation 4 and we're like porting it to the next system. It's like they're almost making it for the next gen system and then downgrading it to the other, which is good way to say it. Is that what they're actually doing? I don't know. I'm suspicious.
I honestly don't think it is.
It's probably the PS4.
8, yeah, because if 8 is like similar and very similar, apparently, then I'm just like, there's no way this shouldn't work on the PS4 and Xbox One. Like, don't get me wrong, you're probably adding some like higher res textures and that, but I'm like, just like any PC game can scale down. There's nothing that I've seen so far that is like, oh yeah, there's no way this could run on the PS4. I'm like, it's the engine that was made for PS4 and Xbox One.
Right.
So I'm like, if you were telling me right now a bet for like dinner, right? Like you buy dinner, I buy dinner. If we're betting on that, like I would totally bet that this is coming out on the PS4. Like hands down, I wouldn't even think twice about it.
Right. So you can find a little bit more information on Destructoid about that, but we kind of talked about it just now.
I just think the other part of it too is like there's 110 plus PlayStation 4s out there. Like, and not everyone's going to be able, like most of them may want to. They're not going to be able due to limitations of units. So then why would you not take advantage of the cash?
Of both, yeah.
Yeah.
No, for sure.
It's 100% the reason, like, this could be its own segment almost, but like how this console generation, how everyone is walking backwards on things they've previously said. You know, Xbox comes out and says like, we are about consumers and being free and open, but then they buy Bethesda for exclusives, and the only reason we could read into that is exclusive power. So I'm like, well, that's totally different than the thing you just said. And then PlayStation 2, we believe in generations, but everything's coming to the PS4. Well, what the hell, you know? Like, so everyone's backtracking, and I feel like this is the same thing. They're just saying that, oh no, these games are next gen, man, next gen, but they totally work for the PS4 and Xbox One. Don't tell anyone.
We hope.
Yeah. We don't know if we'll be able to do it. It's like running behind them on a PS4. So yeah, that is it for homework. That is it for everything. And that is it from us. So until next Monday, bye.
Bye.
Taylor Swift did it. She tried 21. You might as well take all the numbers you...
Article number 4.
Marry me, Julie. I don't never have to be alone. I love you, and that's all I really know. Talk to your dad. Pick out a white dress.
You're like always out of breath.
That's because I live on dangerously.